season of miracles, yeah. Go get it, go get it, go get it. How many go get it? Go get it, go get it. Wave your hand if you gonna get it tonight. Go get it. Go get it, go get it. Go and get your stuff. Go get your stuff. Everybody say, I'ma get my stuff. I'ma get my stuff. Hey, go get your stuff. Go get your stuff. I don't know about you, but I'ma get my stuff. I'ma get my stuff. One more time, say, go get your stuff. Go get your stuff. Go run, run. I'ma get my stuff. How many gonna get it on this side? Go get your stuff. Go get my stuff. Hey, I'ma get my stuff. I'ma get my stuff. Now I need you to make some noise all over this house. Hey, say it's my season. Clap your hands, everybody. Say it's my season. I need you to lift your voice and say it tonight. Say it's my season. It's my season for grace. It's my season. Say it's my season. Say it's my season.
It's my season. I dare you to claim it. Healing, breakthrough. Yeah. Come on and claim it. It's my season. It's my season. It's my season. For grace, for healing, breakthrough, and victory. Come on, if God promised you something today, you may not see it. You may not see it, but you know it's coming. Hey, they that wait upon the Lord, He shall they that wait upon the Lord. It's my seed, my seed, my seed. Hey, mine.
Hey, greetings, family and friends of the Full Gospel Baptist Church Fellowship. I speak on behalf of our presiding bishop, Bishop Joseph W. Walker, and I want to personally invite you to be a part of the Propel Conference. Propel, of course, is a conference that is designed for church leaders and even leaders in different contexts. This conference is designed to accelerate your leadership. And this year, our conference theme is simply this: making the adjustment. Certainly, in light of the disruption that we've experienced in 2020, we have to, of course, receive the skills and the tools to adjust to the unique times that we're living in. The Bible speaks of the tribe of Issachar that they understood the times and knew what to do. And so our conference is designed to give you the skills you need to adjust to the seasons that we're in right now. The amazing part is that this conference is designed to help you and I make the adjustment as it relates to homiletically, how we preach, even digitally, how we even navigate through this unique season that we're in, emotionally and even organizationally, and a host of other topics as it relates to the adjustment. And so October the 28th through the 30th is the time for the conference, October the 28th through the 30th. And I'm encouraging you to sign up today. Now listen, The first 500 individuals that sign up will actually have this special rate of $59.99. The first 500 individuals to sign up will again have the rate of $59.99. After that, the rate will go up to $79.99. So I want to encourage you to sign up today. Now, here is the amazing part. Unlike all the other conferences we've had in the past, you don't have to fly anywhere. You don't have to reserve a hotel. You don't even have to have a food allowance. All you have to do is sign up, and that you will have access, listen to this, to 30 different classes, not just 30 different classes, but 10 different keynote speakers. And here is the amazing part. Also, various toolkits that are designed to help you make the adjustment, such as a toolkit for sermons, a toolkit for staff development, a toolkit for your success, and a toolkit for your strategies as it relates to moving forward. Now listen, for $59.99, you cannot beat that. I want to encourage you to make the investment into your leadership, to make the investment into your life, so that you can develop the skills to make the adjustments in this unique season that we're in. Whatever you do, don't hesitate, sign up today. And you can go to fullgospelconference.org and sign up. Again, the first 500 who sign up, it is $59.99, and shortly thereafter, the rate will go up to $79.99. So don't delay, don't procrastinate, sign up today as we're making the adjustment.
Can one girl in a small town, an architect in a major city, and a suburban high school coach shape the future of the United States? Yes, they can. Because every 10 years, the census gives us that power. You can shape your future by responding to the 2020 census. Where do we need new roads to make our lives easier? Where will new school programs help our children thrive? Where could a new health clinic benefit neighborhoods? The 2020 census will inform these decisions and shape how billions of dollars will be distributed to communities like yours each year. And in 2020, you can respond to the census online, by phone, or by mail. It's easy, safe, and important. Make sure you and everyone you know is counted. Now is the time for you to get involved. Your community needs you. Together, we can educate and excite, inspire, and make sure every voice is heard. Together, we can shape our future.
Well, family, good evening to you. We thank God for all of you sharing with us in our Wednesday in the Word experience together. Of course, I am Pastor Freddie, and we're delighted and excited about our opportunity to come together on tonight. Of course, with all that has transpired, both nationally and locally, over the last few weeks, last few months, even on last night, oh my God. I thought it was necessary for us to come together on this evening to have somewhat of a serious conversation as we prepare to experience some significant changes that I believe will happen over the next few months that remain even in this year. One of the things that I've tried to do as pastor of Cornerstone is to position and even reposition our ministry to be at the forefront of addressing issues in our city, and to do it somewhat from a dichotomous standpoint, meaning, of course, we want to address the social ills and the injustices that occur in our city. But I also want us to address the spiritual issues that oftentimes are associated with the social ills or the injustices, but are rarely, if ever, addressed. So I want us to come together tonight to deal with a couple of things, because we've been marching, we've been singing, we shall overcome, singing Kumbaya. We've been downtown to the courthouse, to City Hall. We prayed a few prayers, and then that's been it. We've got to do more. This ministry, our people, our families, both you and I, as a people of color, as a people of faith, we have to do more. So I want us to come together tonight for a few moments because there's just too much lament going on, too much disgust, too much discouragement, too much hopelessness in our communities and among our people when it comes to seeing justice, when it comes to seeing equality, when it comes to seeing fairness and just plain old common courtesy and decency in our society. So we're here tonight on a Wednesday night, September the 30th, to conclude this month of being a September to remember. And I want to have a discussion about a few things in particular and then move from discussion to finding out how we can be bridge builders, how we can facilitate some positive change in our society that will make our communities a better place to live and make our relationships stronger with one another. So I want to thank you for tuning in and joining us on tonight. If you haven't done so, you know what to do. Go ahead and hit that share button if you're viewing by Facebook Live. Even start a watch party, if you will, because I need all of you a part of this conversation tonight. I need all of you in on what we want to deal with, what we want to share tonight. I need you to do that. Go ahead and hit that share button. Start that watch party. Do what you need to do. Text somebody, call somebody, tell them to get on, to log in, to tune in to what we want to deal with on tonight for a few moments. So, first of all, I'm glad to have with us tonight my friend, my sister in the faith, a daughter of Cornerstone, part of the Team Seastone family. Elder Marsha Pelt is in the building tonight. She's not coming as assistant principal of Central. She's not coming as Elder Marsha Pelt tonight. She's coming as an enumerator. Did I pronounce that correctly?
That's correct.
An enumerator with the Census 2020 team that has been assembled and that has the responsibility of making sure that we all allow our voices, our vote to be counted, not just on November 3rd. We're going to talk about that next month. Tonight, I need us to talk about Census 2020. You probably have been hearing mumblings and groanings about it over the last few months, but we're in crunch time right now. And I need you to be a part of this conversation, a part of this discussion. Listen, even as we're going through this tonight, if you have questions that you would like to have asked of those that will be on the stage with me tonight, please, ma'am, please, sir, feel free to comment on our Facebook Live, and we'll do our best to get to your questions so that we can interact together tonight. I want it to be a dialogue, a discussion, but I also want you to make sure that your questions are answered and that we all get the information that we need to make decisions that, again, will better our community and strengthen relationships with one another. So we're glad to have you with us tonight, Elder Pelt.
Thank you so very much.
Let's talk a little bit about the census, first of all. And I want to share with us that, again, the census has been upon us for the last few months. And as I found out, actually, that they have extended the deadline to register for the census through October the 5th. So we got a little more time to get it done. But just from the standpoint of information tonight, what, first of all, is the census?
Good afternoon. Thank you. Well, good evening. Thank you for the opportunity. The census is pretty much a count of the population in the United States. Every 10 years, the federal government does a count of the individuals that have been produced in the United States. They're looking at the births, they're looking at the ones who have died, and they're pretty much just trying to get an overall count. Now, you're probably asking, what's the importance of the count? The count really is connected to federal dollars. And when you start talking about federal dollars and money, you're talking about how that money can impact your neighborhood. What can that money do for your community? So first of all, the census is a count of the populations of the United States. In every 10 years, it comes up. Usually it starts in March, and it usually goes to about August. Well, it went to August this year. It usually ends in June or July. But because of COVID-19, it was extended. And then, of course, it was supposed to end today based upon the federal I don't want to say president getting involved. He wanted the count to stop, but of course, a federal judge withheld that. He kind of blocked it. So now it's October 5th. So we pretty much have 5 days left as of right now to go around and get as many people as we possibly can to be counted in the census.
Okay. Now, one of the things that I found out, which I believe precipitated this moment that we are coming together tonight in, is that I found out that Alabama, the state of Alabama, the beloved state of Alabama, is actually the worst state in the nation as it relates to those who have registered for the census. How is that even possible when you think about all that the census will affect as it relates to numbers and dollars and programs that our people will be entitled to because of the results of the census?
There are two reasons that I can think of that would have Alabama pretty much the last in the nation. First of all, fear. People are afraid. When you see people, when numerators or individuals are coming to your door and they're knocking on your door requesting information, people are really afraid. Second of all, they look at the information in the mail. They may look at it online. And once again, it goes back to fear. I'm not providing my information. That's none of their business. I'm not concerned with it. And so we have to remind people that it's our responsibility. It's a responsibility to be counted in the census. You have to do your part. So when you erase the fear, and fear is usually caused by not being knowledgeable, not understanding the full process of the census, what it does. And if you ever get into a community where grandmother didn't do it, and my dad didn't do it, it's going to be hard unless you are very knowledgeable of what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And so you can't allow others, even with your neighbors, don't do that, don't do that. You don't know what's going to come back on you. And because based on time and based on history, things have come back on people, so it's just a part of being fearful right now.
Okay, let's talk about that a little bit. Fearful, I heard, but exactly why be fearful? Because in looking at this and researching this, I believe that we have a tremendous opportunity here to positively affect our state's future for the next 10 years and beyond. How so? By taking less than 10 minutes to complete this census form. Now, this is what I want to deal with in this, because I want to kind of unpack a few of the things that the census affects as it relates to our community and our society. One in particular, can you talk to me about how the census will affect, from a governmental standpoint, representation in Congress as a people?
And so, yes, if the people are not counted within a neighborhood or within a community or within a county, so everyone that's counted within a county, there's a representative that's appointed. There's something like there's a senator, there's a congressperson. Those people were appointed based upon the numbers that's within that district. So if you have 7 counties that make up at least one district, then you have at least one senator or one congressperson that will represent that. However, if the numbers drop and the numbers are not there, then the district moves from 7 to 12. So now you have one person representing 12 counties versus one person representing 7 counties. So you've eliminated where you can receive 2 people that may represent your best interest. You eliminated that, and now you only have one person to speak your voice or speak their voice based upon your concerns in pretty much in Congress, in the state Senate, in office. You've lost that opportunity to have at least 2 people standing there fighting the battle for you. So when you refuse to count or be counted, you lose a seat. And so that's what's at stake right now. We may lose a congressional seat. There's a possibility that we don't know exactly where it will come from. about 10 years ago, they redrew the lines, the district
course.
lines. They
Yep.
redrew the district lines. And when they redrew the district lines, they joined some counties in, and helped eliminate some people or pushed them out. And a lot of that is it went from a minority, maybe Democratic territory to a Republican territory. And so when you have a Republican territory, they represents their principles and their beliefs. If you have a Democratic territory, they represent the Democratic principles and beliefs. So it's whatever you believe. If you refuse to participate in a process that will help push your beliefs and your principles forward, then you lose your say. You lose your say when it gets to the Congress House.
Listen, as of right now, the state of Alabama has a total of 7 congressional seats. We're in jeopardy of losing at least one of those seats.
Yes.
Now, I'm not going to speculate or guess which one we'll lose, but chances are, if they look like us, they're going after that seat.
That's a possibility, yes.
So we have to do our part in making sure that we're registered, that we're counted. Listen, there are all types of things that affect us as it relates to the census. I serve on the board with Community Service Programs of Alabama, Tuscaloosa, West Alabama, actually, for 10 counties in this area that CSP represents and has operations in. And I am just floored by looking at the types of programs that CSP has direct representation with that will be affected by the numbers from this census, which include the medical assistance program, Medicaid,
Yes.
directly affected.
Yes.
National School Lunch Program.
Yes.
Y'all can potentially lose free lunch behind this.
Yes.
State Children's Health Insurance Program. All kids.
Yes.
How many of you don't you have to raise your hand, you don't even have to comment. How many of you have all kids for your children right now? That will be affected by the census. Low income home energy assistance.
Yes.
Head Start, early Head Start, affected by census numbers. Listen, college students, Pell Grants and student loan
Yes.
money's availability will be affected by this census. Section 8 housing assistance payments, housing choice vouchers.
All of that. Yes.
Listen, those potholes y'all complaining about all over the city, that's affected by the census.
Yes.
They wait till voting time because they don't have enough money to replace a pothole every time you call them. So they wait because they don't have the money. Highway planning and construction is affected by the census. Community development block programs, rural rental assistance programs, to name a few. It's stuff I even left off. All of that is affected by the census. But what I didn't tell you about that I need for now educator help to talk about a little bit, and we can conclude this segment, I need you to talk about the educational concerns that are associated with the census and not having our representation counted for.
Well, when you lose funding, that's directly impacts education. You're looking at losing teachers. You're looking at overcrowded classrooms. You're looking at a classroom that may go from 15 students to 25 students based upon the divisors coming out of the State House. And that the divisors come from the State House based upon the amount of funding that would come down from the federal government. So if you lose the federal dollars, if you refuse to be counted in the census and that money is lost, then for the next 10 years, you have lost the opportunity to impact your son's or your daughter's education, your grandchildren's education. Now is the time, because you cannot wait another 10 years to say, oh, I wish or I should have done that. So when you're looking at education, think about not only losing teachers, not only losing classroom units, think about the teachers. I mean, teachers don't really receive that much for supply money, but now that money will be cut. So everything concerning education is tied or related to the budget that comes from the federal office. And it's pretty much when you say Title I schools aren't the only schools that benefit from federal dollars. All schools benefit from federal dollars. All schools benefit from federal dollars, whether it's bus routes, whether it's adding technology into the classroom, whether it's saying, oh, how can I maybe flex a unit where I can put a band teacher here and I can use this money to put an art teacher here and create electives. All of that is impacted based upon your responsibility to complete the census. When you refuse to do it, you refuse to put better services into the schoolhouse for your students. And please don't say, well, oh, the children aren't doing this, or I don't like the principal, I don't like the administrator, I don't like the teacher anyway. That's not the point. Because that administrator and that child that's in your classroom, that child is going to go from kindergarten to 12th grade. He's going to transition each year. And you're going to meet different personalities. Now, just imagine, kindergarten, your child started off with maybe 15 students. But by the time you get to 6th grade, they are no longer exchanging classes. They're in one self-contained classroom, and now it's a set of 30. 30 students with one teacher, no paraprofessional, no aid. And let's think about the students that pretty much have disabilities, that may need self-containment, that need those extra programs, that need the extra people to come in and support them. That money is also tied to it. So don't just look at, I don't like something. You may not like a lot of things. I may not like chocolate ice cream, but there are some people that loves it, and they're going to purchase it. So you have to do your job as well. You have to do your job. You have to make sure that the next 10 years, you may not live to see it, but the next 10 years benefits somebody that's coming along behind you. That's your responsibility. The next 10 years should be a fight for your grandchildren, should be a fight for your great-grandchildren. You should leave a legacy behind saying, yes, I was counted because I wanted to impact my grandchild's education. Yes, I was counted because I knew my daughter needed more. Yes, I filled out the census because my son deserved a better education. My son deserved every program, every opportunity to learn that's out there. And money is tied to it. And money comes from the federal government dollars, and federal government gets that funding from the county, from you all. So if you go from 50 people in the community and only 30 fills it out, you've lost a bus route. You've also lost dollars. You've lost an opportunity, a classroom unit. You've also lost dollars. You lost an opportunity for someone to come in and provide extra support to your student, to that child. You've lost the dollars, all because you said, I don't have to do it this time. Yes, you do. You have a responsibility. You have a responsibility.
So all of this is connected in one way or the other.
It is connected. And let's just think about the Black Belt, those rural counties. It's already a struggle with transportation. It's already a struggle with bus routes. It's already a struggle getting up early to make it to school that's maybe 20 or 30 miles from you. It's already a struggle. You have no right to say, I can't do this. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You need to do it. You must do it.
Listen, and one other aspect that I want to add to this, beyond the education component, is also the economic development component. So even beyond education, we're talking about data that's collected by the Census Bureau that is used to determine businesses and industry that's made available to your areas.
Exactly.
You're talking about retail and restaurant growth, consideration from companies who want to expand or relocate, which will create more job opportunities. All of that is connected to the census.
Connected to the count.
Connected to the count. So if you haven't done it, go ahead and repent, say I'm sorry, and go to 2020 or my2020census.gov.
Exactly.
Put it on the screen for me, y'all. www.my2020census.gov. Go ahead and do it online. Go ahead and do it online. You have until October the 5th to get it in and get it done. Once you've completed, or if you've already completed, check your neighbors, check your family members, check your friends, check your coworkers, check everybody. We need to get the census so that our voices can be heard from another perspective to make sure that we get what we're entitled to. It's too easy to get it. I have a constituent, a friend of mine, who said earlier on a live today, if you want to hide, put it in the book, put it somewhere that is required of us to read, because we're not going to read it. We're giving this information to us tonight because we need it in order for us to make some informed decisions about our future. We can't keep blaming everybody else for what we have the power to control ourselves. Get that census filled out.
And let me just go ahead and tell you the information that's on the census so you can erase the fear. It does not do a background check. It's not asking for your social security number. The only thing the census is requiring is your name, full name, first, middle, last, and it's a middle initial. Then it's going to ask for the address. It's going to say, do you verify that you live at this address, 822 County Road 43. Do you live at this address? Yes. Were you living at this address as of April 1st, 2020? The answer is either yes or no. If you were not living in that address, they're going to close it out, and then they're going to ask you, have you completed the census at another address? If you say no, then they're going to start over again. What address did you live in? Where were you? How many people live with you? Then it's going to pretty much say, are you married? Yes or no. If I say Rodney Pelt, Marche Pelt, they're going to say, are you married? Is this your wife? The answer will be yes. Then it's, how many children do you have? And it just goes down asking children and birth dates, and that's it. It does not ask for anything
So
else.
it doesn't ask anything about if you've been arrested.
It does not ask.
Doesn't ask for your social security number.
No. With no bank account information, no credit cards, none of that. None of that. All it needs is your name, birthday, and address. And please don't say, I don't usually give out my birthday information. Well, I mean, they're just trying to verify how old are you. If you're 48, they just want to make sure, were you 48 as of April 1st, 2020? That's it. We have 5 days, guys. We got to get it done. And I want to give a shout out. Even schools were competing in this process. And on today, I learned that I think it's Macon County School District. That's one of the school districts that's, well, Tuskegee. They won, I think, $60,000. They're only at 52%, but they're higher than they were the last 10 years. They're still trying to get to 65%, and they will do it. I think Sumter County came in third place today. Okay. So the rural counties did. You are increasing, but you need to go ahead and make sure that you at least get 95%. There's no way, no reason that you cannot do it. In Tuscaloosa City, Tuscaloosa County, we need you all to come through. We need you all to fill it out. This county is too large. And all of the things that you get on social media and you complain about and you said you would like change, now is the opportunity to make a change. Now is the opportunity to do that. And you have the responsibility. All it takes is a few minutes. I promise you, 5 to 7 minutes, and it's done.
Please, ma'am, please, sir. Let's get it done. Again, www.my2020census.gov. You can go online, get it done, less than 10 minutes, and you go on to the next thing. Thank you so much for being with us on tonight. I appreciate you taking the time to come and help us and be informed as it relates to this area. And we'll probably have you back because we're going to deal with voting next month as you prepare for one of the most important elections. Yeah. Lifetime's history so far. So we may do that for next month sometime. But until then, thank you so much for being with us tonight, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you. Remember, it's your responsibility. Let's get counted.
Thank you so much. Listen, that's part one of our time together on this evening. And as we prepare to transition into the next phase of our time on tonight, I just want to encourage you, even in your giving. I want to thank all of you who are supportive of our ministry and have continued to support our ministry, even during this unprecedented time that we've been in the midst of, dealing with, coping with, managing the particulars that have been associated with this pandemic that we have all been impacted and affected by from COVID-19 rather, in the year of 2020. But one thing that I believe has been true for all of us who have been consistent in our giving, who have exercised faith in God concerning our giving, is that God has been faithful to us. He has been good to us. He has provided for us. He has made sure that what we needed, he has been able to provide for us. So I want us tonight to get some seed in the ground for harvest for our lives, even to be able to be made manifest in the next few days and weeks and months ahead. All I need you to do is to go ahead and use one of those electronic options of giving that are available to you. They are on the screen even now. Available for you for your giving on tonight. $ Team C Stones, the handle that is used there. You can also give by way of Givelify. Find Cornerstone Full Gospel Baptist Church. Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and appropriate your giving there. And then thirdly, on tonight, electronic giving, Secure Give is also available. Cornerstone Ministries is where we're found there on Secure Give. For those of you who are continuing to manually release your tithes giving, your offering on tonight, you can do so sending it in to 610 Brooksdale Drive, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, 35401. Whichever platform you choose to use tonight, we thank you in advance for your giving, and we know that as God continues to bless, hallelujah, you will be a blessing to others. So we appreciate you. We love you. We thank you for your support. And please, ma'am, please, sir, as you're led to do so even on tonight, we encourage you and admonish you in your giving on this evening. Well, for part two of our time together on tonight, I have the pleasure of presenting to some, introducing to others, our newly appointed Deputy Chief with the Tuscaloosa Police Department, my friend, my brother, who's here with us to talk tonight for a little while. Would you help me welcome to the Cornerstone family tonight, Sebo Sanders in the building.
I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody.
Good to see you tonight, sir. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to be with us on tonight, because it can not go unspoken, not go unnoticed that there has been much ado that has been witnessed and spoken about and shared concerning the events that surrounded the death of Breonna Taylor and, of course, George Floyd a few months before that, and countless others in our society from police injustices that have occurred among our people. And not to mention, of course, those that tuned in and viewed number 45 on last night and the reckless language that he used as it relates to dealing with denouncing white supremacy in our nation, and how that just went so far left until it wasn't even funny. Our people right now, we're kind of worried. I know we're not necessarily fearful, but we're kind of worried. I put a post up a few weeks ago and said, "This I am not my mother and my grandmother. We are not a part of that generation." So I think fear is the last thing that we have right now as a people, but we are concerned. So I wanted us to come together tonight and deal with a few aspects of this from the standpoint of making sure that whatever tensions that may be arising here in the Tuscaloosa community, we can help subside that and let our people know that everything is under control, that we're good, we're covered, and whatever going on everywhere else is not going on here, at least to our knowledge. So I want to thank you for being with us on tonight, and just want to talk about a few things. Again, if you have any questions that you would like to be asked or things that you would like addressed, please put them in the comment section, and we'll do our best to get to them before we wrap up with these next few minutes that we have together. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Chief, where you're from, how long you've been with the force, and whatever else you feel relevant to our conversation on tonight.
It's a pleasure being here. Sebo Sanders. I've been with the Tuscaloosa Police Department for 24 years, from a little small town called Marion, Alabama. Known for basketball and baseball, and that's how I somewhat got here to Tuscaloosa. Been here, became a police officer, just about went through every division in the police department. During my career, it was a pretty good career. I can't complain. But the one thing that I seen that we would need in our community was somebody who gonna care, somebody who gonna get out here and make a difference. And I was surprised when they announced me as deputy chief. The one thing I see that we have a problem among our people, among the community, is gun violence, gangs, just things that need to be addressed. Not just only that, we need somebody in case we come across an officer that have done wrong to people. You have someone you can call on. So I felt like taking this position was a big step for me.
Yes, sir, it was a big step. I do agree, especially given the times that we live in and all that's associated with policing and protection in our communities right now. So a couple of things I want to ask as we go through this. first from a more of a national perspective that could possibly impact us here locally, particularly as it relates to the Breonna Taylor case and all that surrounded it. Is there a no-knock policy here in Tuscaloosa?
No, it's not. It's not a no-knock policy.
Okay.
I do not like that policy. I'm not. I feel like, you announce that you're a police. If any human being, even me, if somebody come to my house and they kick my door in, I'm thinking it's an intruder.
Right.
So, yes, I'm going to defend my family.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know really all the facts to that case. It's tragic, but
It is.
I don't like that policy.
Okay.
Never did.
So we don't have one.
No,
Okay.
we don't have one.
Great. Thank you. Are there any efforts being engaged in concerning police reform, and in particular, with regard to President Trump's recent condemning of racial sensitivity training? Are there any efforts as it relates to police reform in that area? And with regard to racial sensitivity, does that make training and your job harder or easier as it relates to all of that right there?
Well, the one thing we doing at the Tuscaloosa Police Department right now, we trying to improvise a diversity training
Okay.
for all the officers to go through to understand different cultures, different race, sex, religion, just different aspect of encounter with people in the community of Tuscaloosa.
Okay.
It's hard with some people to adjust. You got to realize some people are like me. I'm a country boy. I might be a little bit different, but other people, it's hard to adjust sometimes. So sometimes we do need that training. You do get the training when you go through the police academy.
Okay. How often is that training done? Is it just for those new coming on, or is there anything ongoing or
No,
consistent?
it's an ongoing training. One thing at the police department, we conduct training twice a month.
Okay.
Once every month, but it's twice a cycle.
Okay, twice a cycle. Okay. As specifically relating to your position, I think it's over community policing.
Yes.
Can you talk to us a little bit about specifically what all that will entail and involve as it relates to your area of oversight?
The community policing is a wide area of what I do. One of the things is set up program for kids, especially in the high-risk community, to try to deter kids from going down that criminal road. One of the things that we focus on is the PAIR program, Police Athletic League. Like I said myself, I'm a basketball player. Sometimes you can reach out to certain kids with athletics and everything, but besides that, we're going to do other things as well. I talked to a young man today that he was telling me he went to prison for 20-some years for murder. And one of the things he said that he was an athlete, and he was a good athlete, but he let streets overtake his body. And he ended up getting involved with something that he probably shouldn't have. And he said going back and looking at everything that had happened in his life, he wished he had somebody that would have followed him, kept up with him, even after school or whatever, to push him to go and do things better. And that's something I want to do through the PAIR program. I want to set up, one of the biggest things, I'm setting up Lily Leatherwood, a gold medalist here, work with the Tuscaloosa Police Department. We finna start a field and track academy through her.
Wow.
And we gonna go through the schools and encourage these kids to come out and get trained by Lily. But even after that, even I think our age range like 8 to 14, but even after 14, we want to keep up with those kids, see where they at, see the progress that they made. If they still in school, their grades and things like that. That's some of the things that I want that we are doing. Another thing with community policing is going in area that we are most effective. As like Saturday, I had a shooting involving teens. I came out, I spoke with the residents in that community, and I'm trying to correct some of the problems that we have. Reaching out to social workers and things like that. Mental health is one of the things also that falls under me. And that's a problem that we have here in Tuscaloosa. Because I want to make sure that we don't do anything wrong, of a person that had mental issues.
Okay. So I'm glad you kind of hit on that because I wanted to ask next, as it relates to potential incidents or interaction that may occur between the police and residents in the community. What is the position then concerning use of force and possible crisis intervention measures to de-escalate heightened emotional situations, which may be the result of mental instabilities?
It's different steps to de-escalation. That's one of our training is how to de-escalate. Some people have it, some people don't.
Okay.
But one thing we try to do is try to talk this person down. As long as it's not deadly force, it won't be deadly force used.
Okay.
We'll try everything possible we can to de-escalate a problem to not make it a deadly force issue.
Okay. You spoke to, again, the possible mental health instability that may be associated with the situation. Are there any leanings toward possibly having social workers or psychiatrists, psychologists, or those that are associated with that particular field to be on a beat with an officer or to be able to be accessed if a potential situation occurs where they may be needed to come in and try to de-escalate? Because and I'm asking this because one of the things that I realize, and I think many of us realize in our community, is that medical professionals in that particular area had to go to school for that for an extended number of time. And then I think it's kind of unfair to put that pressure, that burden even, on police officers to be able to recognize that and then be able to know how to deal with that from that standpoint with all the training, all the schooling that they went through to be able to be at that point, but then expect you all to be able to do what they could do. Is there any type of partnership, I guess I'm asking, with that particular area of professionalism that could help you all do your job better that y'all may be considering engaging in with one another?
Well, right now we do have 2 officers that's mental health workers. One of them got a degree in psychology, Sergeant Craig Parker.
Okay.
He's very good. He's pretty much on call at all times.
Okay.
We have a situation that arises from mental health. He will come out, and the other officer will too. They is very good. They doing a wonderful job right now with mental health. They go so far as working with the social worker to try to help these people to get some help, to find places that they can get some help.
Okay. That is so good to hear, so good to know, because I don't think we knew that, or we know that. And I think it's moments like this that are necessary for that type of information to be disseminated to the community so that they can feel a little more at ease about potential situations where they know that we have representation on the police force that can handle that.
And we also have good trained supervisors right now. And we go through a lot of training, a lot of classes on mental health. And a supervisor respond to the scene. They know, okay, this mental illness. They'll try to de-escalate the situation. If not, they will contact these 2 officers. And we're trying to make this division a bigger division where even we may look towards getting a social worker to be part of the unit.
Okay, awesome. As a pastor and as a church, we have a responsibility to be a voice for people who often think they have no voice or wouldn't be heard. What do you see from your position as the role of the church in helping to create a cooperative community of accountability and equality?
The role of a church is a very important role because we need to be accountable. And I think if you know something that or someone that have been mistreated, the church is a place that they can come to you and say, Pastor Fred, I was mistreated by a police officer. I feel like it was a racial issue. A lot of times, we get stories, but sometimes it don't be the way that it delivered. When we look at video, now, but that's where I'm looking for your help. If you have that issue, you call me, contact me, let me look into it, and make sure that everything was okay with that situation. But we all got to come together. I think the church need to play a big role as far as working with the police, and the police as well as working with the church.
Okay, appreciate that. Yes, sir. Now look, don't all y'all call me now. If y'all get a problem, make sure it's legit. It's legit, and we can try to help you out with your situation. In what ways then, having said that, do you think we can promote and broker mutual trust between the residents in our city and the police in our communities?
I think the one thing that we have to do, we have to bring more officers, get them more involved in the community. Bring them to the church. Come in uniform, come to a service. Let the people get to know Officer Jones, you know. That's how I feel like the community can get trust in you, just like with me and you. You know, I got to know you as an officer, well, before then, but still, I got to know your officer, and the trust is there, and as well as the officer having trust in the community.
Right.
And I think that that's something that we have to bring together. I think it worked both ways.
Right.
You know, sometimes I think if you see an officer just come up and say, hey, you know, I appreciate you, you know. And I think that officer look at it, okay, I really, really appreciate that. You know? I have a lot of people that come up to me during my shift like, hey, I appreciate everything that you have done, you know. And that means a lot. That means a lot. And I remember faces. Sometimes I may be out, you may run a red light, and I remember you coming up to me and say, hey, I appreciate it. And I'm going to say, hey, you know, ran a red light, but, you know, next time slow it down and give a warning.
Got it. Yeah, I definitely will remember that. Okay. Listen, let's shift gears a little bit and deal with a little bit of the makeup of the police force itself, particularly as it relates to the number of minorities and women that you all have on the force. How can we kind of help better, or help you all rather, recruit and get more African Americans, minorities, or maybe even women to consider and apply for positions in law enforcement in our community?
Well, we have to push being in law enforcement. You know, you may can be at church and you see a young man or young lady that, hey, they might make a good police officer. We need to push them because we do need minority in the community. You know, we recruit, but a lot of times it's not just the department itself. Sometimes it's got to do with pay,
Of course.
things like that. And most people who have college degrees or will make good police officers, they go other places like Hoover, University of Alabama, or different places who pay. So we need to push our young African American men and women to apply. We don't get enough that apply. I see a lot of them that leave here and go to that city over Birmingham that pays less and be a police with more work. And I think that they could have stayed here, got more money, and would have stayed at home, and would have made a difference in the community.
Okay.
That's what we need. We need officers who make a difference. And one of the things that in my position that I'm trying to do is do like the fire department doing at TCTA, to have a program with the police department at TCTA.
Okay.
And try to encourage some of them to come to the Tuscaloosa Police Department.
That's awesome. Awesome. Along with that, are there any plans for possible job fairs or anything like that to promote opportunities available with the department?
Yes, it will be job fairs. We will be traveling, going to schools. We try to recruit locally, and we're going to be going to different shelters, UA, Stillman College,
Okay.
and it's going to be job fairs where we're going to be looking for good officers.
Okay. One quick question about juvenile delinquency, and then we'll wrap up for tonight. As it relates to juvenile crime, things of that nature with our young people, what are some of the things that we can do to kind of help not only deter but prevent opportunities for them to engage in acts that may get them or somebody else in harm's way or in trouble? And I'm asking particularly as it relates to gun violence that you're talking about and them getting access to weapons. Because I kind of understand that, if I'm correct, a large majority of these weapons that they are coming into contact with are from break-ins in vehicles that are unlocked, that have weapons left in them, that they would just lock the car, they couldn't get it.
That's a problem within itself, you know, people leaving their guns in their cars and everything. Because, you know, we catch a lot on video where kids going around pulling on door handles and they find guns in the vehicle. The one thing, and I'm going to go back to this, I'm going to go, kids are kids.
Right.
And they very curious. And right now we got a lot of things that stray our kids away from being a kid. And we don't have enough programs to let them remain a kid. I somewhat fault us as an adult because we don't stand strong in our community and say, hey, enough is enough. We're not going to let you destroy our community. You know, I'm a police officer. I work 8 hours a day. But when I get off, I go back to my house. I might not live in that same community. But we need to, as parents, pastors, teachers, principals, all got to come together and say, hey, enough is enough. We're not going to do this. We're not going to let our kids destroy our community. You know, we're talking about the census. You know, we get new street paved and we get better parts, sidewalks and everything. But we got people that cannot go out into the park and enjoy themselves because we got young teens that are involved in gang violence that is shooting. I spoke with a 87-year-old lady Monday morning, and she's in a wheelchair. And she was this weekend involved where her home was involved in gun violence between two teens.
Wow.
And she said the only thing she could do is pray and hopefully they didn't want to hit her. That's not a way to live. It's not a way to live. So I think everybody need to get involved. You know, not just the police. It need to be everybody. And that's one of the things I'm going to do. I'm going to get involved with the community. And I'm gonna get out and I'm going to walk and I'm going to go talk to some of these teens where I see. And I'm encouraging you and other pastors, and not just the pastor, the members of the church. Let's get out here and do this. Let's get out here and save our kids. Because just like you say, when I think we got 10 to 11 kids at 16 years of age in the county jail facing life without the eligibility of parole.
Wow.
That's a lot. Now you think about majority of their cases are murder cases. So when you do that, you're looking at votes. You're looking at 1 or 2 people in jail, that's 2 votes. And 1 person in the grave, that's another vote. That's 3 votes that could count come November. I don't want to get on so much on the politics area.
I understand.
But what I'm saying is we're losing our kids to gun violence. And we need to get out here and we need to stop. We need to be parents. We need to be adults. We need to get out here and say, hey, we're not going to allow this in our community. And I think when they see that, then they're going to realize, hey, we better go to another area. We better turn to basketball and baseball. So that's what I think we need to do.
Okay, appreciate that. Listen, my final question for tonight, and we'll be done for our time together. As a police officer, and also as a black man, what are your personal feelings, fears, optimisms about the culture that we're in the midst of now as it relates to communication between our community and the police itself? You've got a unique situation because you're a black man, but you're also law enforcement, and understanding the tension that is there and underlying. What are your personal feelings as it relates to what your fears may be, but then also what are your optimisms as it relates to how we can become a better people holistically?
My fears is from law enforcement side that we're going to break the trust between the community and law enforcement. You know, Tuscaloosa is not a bad place compared to other places, but you can see where tension is arising. And the one thing that I fear when we do have a on-duty shooting, that the community is going to get in an uproar. I don't want that because we got so many good things here in Tuscaloosa. You know, we have people who may come into our city that don't live here in our city and destroy our city, destroy our churches, destroy our homes, destroy our jobs. And some people, if you come in and you let other people destroy our jobs, that job may not come back and relocate. So you have somebody that been working at a job 25, 30 years, now they out of a job, out of a retirement. I fear that. That's the biggest thing of fear. Far as a black man, I understand sometimes situations. I have been on scenes sometime where just luckily I have been there. And I can like, hey, no, this ain't gonna happen. You know, I'm not gonna allow this to happen. I'm not gonna allow anybody to mistreat my people, not just my people, anybody. But that's the only thing that as a black man, I understand sometimes. And I tell some of the officers of other colors, I tell them, I say, hey, you gotta understand this. Sometimes we speak loud. It don't mean that we irate. You know, we just speak loud. And they understand. We got a good department here. We got a good department. You know, people could say different things because sometimes they get arrested. They're going to be upset. But for the most part, we got good officers, good trained officers. This is a good department, good trained department, good chief, good city. And I want to remain that way.
Cool. 60 seconds. What was the one reason, if there is just one, that you took this position as it relates to what you wanted to accomplish from being deputy police chief?
The voices of the people. I think we need to be heard. We need a liaison to be able to carry their problems to someone that can relate back to the police department. I got a good rapport within the police department. I got a good rapport, I say, in the community. I think we need that voice. I think we need the voice where people can feel comfortable coming in and say, hey, Sibo, let me talk to you about something. I saw something that I didn't like. Or can we get just patrol cars to ride through my neighborhood during the night because my house got broken in twice while I'm at work and we haven't seen a police car. We need somebody. We need that voice. And I think I'm that person to be able to carry out that mission.
Great. Listen, I want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule again to be with us tonight. Give you a pound because I can't shake your hand, but I appreciate you.
I appreciate you having me here.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. And thank you that have tuned in to be with us on tonight for a great time together on this evening. Listen, again, if you haven't done so, get that census done. Be accountable and also hold those around you accountable for getting it done. Got till October the 5th to make that happen. Again, we thank God for Deputy Chief Sanders and congratulate him on his new assignment. And if you see him around, you've heard what he's spoken to us tonight. Let's use him. He's one of us, and he's concerned about his community and about us as a people. So let's rally behind him. Let's support him and do what we can to be a better community and a better people as we move ahead, move forward. That's my time. Thank you for yours on tonight. We look to see you again this coming Sunday, 10:30 a.m. Here, Cornerstone Full Gospel Baptist Church, Facebook Live, YouTube. Look forward to you being with us. Share it. God bless you. Have a great night. We'll see you soon.